Hello, I'm Ben Hill, joined today by the cast of The Shadow, a really powerful short film following a woman on the run from this mysterious dark force crossing time, setting, and genre. The film won at the Cannes Indie Shorts Award, and we're honored to take it on in the showcase selection of this year's Femme Filmmakers Festival. So it's great to have the chance to sit down and chat with you all. We've got a lot of names here in this call, so I think it's probably easiest if you introduce yourselves and what your role in the film was to start things off.
Yeah, I'll go first. My name is Arrianna Leigh. I am the writer, the executive producer, and I play the woman in The Shadow.
That's great. Anyone else
Hi,
want to
just
jump on?
jump in.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bit awkward. I don't know with the lineup. It's a bit everyone's a bit all over the place.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
people are.
My name's Ella Lavender. I was the director of photography on The Shadow.
My name is Yasmin Howie, and I was the wardrobe supervisor on The Shadow.
My name's Lydia Smith, and I was the assistant director on The Shadow.
Great. And I believe we might have Jess joining later on, who was the sound design on the film.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So to start things off, I'd love to hear about the early days of the production. So how the initial idea was brought up and how the team was introduced to that and came together.
Yeah, so I just really was itching to do something. And I reached out to our director, Kieran, and I was just like, I really want to do like a short film, like under 10 minutes. Or at that point, it was literally just like kind of this idea of a chase or a pursuit. And so I was like, yeah, I really want to do something. We kind of just literally in my notebook, I still have the page to this day. I had written out like goody, baddie. And like that was like just the original idea. And we had like the setting, so we knew we wanted to have essentially like a modern setting and then a kind of going back through different time periods and then ending up in like a very kind of, undetermined kind of mysterious setting. So we knew that going into it. And then it was just kind of, yeah, developing exactly which way we wanted the story to go. And then when it ended up kind of being, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but when we decided on what we wanted it to be, that we were like, okay, we want to kind of follow this woman on this journey through, yeah, these different realities and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's the story right there. And it was really, something that was shaped by my personal kind of lived experience and something that was like a very personal story that I wanted to share through a kind of like dramatized cinematic way. Um, and
Absolutely.
in the beginning, it was, yeah, very, I mean, we didn't even, now I have a production company thanks to all of these people saying yes. But at the time, it was literally just me and Kieran, and then my husband, who was a good sport and was like, "Yeah, I'll be a part of it if you guys take care of everything else." Um, and so then I just started reaching out to people. I knew Yaz already. Yaz was in our wedding party, so I knew Yaz before, and obviously I knew Yaz was really passionate about like fashion, and I knew she would be perfect for wardrobe stylist. So I'd reached out to her. And then her husband's a builder, so he was like perfect for like key grip kind of vibes. So we had
Oh
already had
yeah.
like some people that were perfect for specific roles. But then like Ella, I slid into Ella's DMs, and then Lydia, I met with Lydia and Jim. We went for lunch, dinner, or like afternoon tea or something. We just grabbed like a bite to eat somewhere. It was the busiest place I have still ever. It was so busy for whatever reason. It was like packed when we went, wasn't it? I don't know why it was that, and it was like hard to find as well. Do you remember that? Like we had to walk like way
Yeah, and
far
then
down.
me and Jim were like, let's get a table, and then
Yeah,
we'll see
yeah,
where you are because it was just crazy. Everyone was walking their
yeah.
dog.
Yeah, we literally could barely hear each other. It was that loud in there. Like we were like having to like shout over. But anyway, so thankfully, like everyone that I reached out to, I was so prepared for them to say no, because obviously a lot of these people, like Lydia and Yaz knew each other before. Lydia and Jim and Yaz knew each other beforehand, but Ella and Lydia and Jim didn't know me. So I was like, well, I'll send the pitch deck and I'll give them, kind of like and the idea of what I'm thinking, like my vision. I'll try to best explain my vision that I can to them. But I was definitely preparing myself for people to say no. And thankfully they didn't. They all said yes. Ella thankfully verified that this was not a scam. What I was
Yeah,
trying to
I did think that for a
pitch to
while,
her.
but no, it was all fine.
She was like, let me see. This looks a little sus. But yeah, thankfully everyone said yes. And so then I was like, oh, okay, great. And then it just really was like such a lovely team of people. And still to this day, I think we all like really we get on really well, thankfully. So I was like, I'd always wanted to found a production company. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it because I wanted to produce the short film through a production company, of my own if I could. So really, Stormcloud Productions wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for the people in this room, right? Like, on this Zoom call right now that they all said yes, because I probably wouldn't have felt confident enough to go ahead with it if they hadn't kind of wanted to sign on for the short film. So yeah, and in the beginning, it was yeah, it was a really quick like pre-production process as well. Like obviously it's a short film, so it wasn't as long as you would spend for like a feature film or something like that. But it was pretty quick. I mean, we had like our first pre-production meeting in March, and then we filmed in April. So it was really a really
Oh
quick
yeah.
turnaround from when I kind of met with people in person to pitch the idea and talk through the pitch deck, and then when we were like on set filming. So, and it was lovely. Yeah. Really, really good experience. At least for
It
me.
sounds like there was
I'll
really
let
like
them
a
share their experience, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
it sounds like there was a really good momentum, like right from the bat though.
Yeah, I mean, luckily because everyone said yes, yeah, it was like I think at that point, it becomes everyone's. It's not just yours anymore. So you want to really make sure you don't let anyone down and you keep moving forward because everyone is signed on. So you want to just like get everyone on set as soon as you can. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that it's a really good motivator when people say yes because you're like, oh, okay, it's not just me trying to make this happen now. It's like I got a team, so let's do it. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it'd be great to hear what that was like from the other side. Like what excited you about this project to start with, why you jumped on it, and how that kind of onboarding process was to be a part of the reality of the production.
Anyone?
Yeah, I'm like, which one?
It looks like
Yeah,
yours
you
was
go
the
ahead,
one. I'm not
Lydia.
sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Lydia.
Um, so for me, I'd graduated with a master's in a drama school, and I hadn't done anything independent yet. So I went straight into full-time work and trying to do creative writing on the side because I did script writing and stuff like that. And then Jim was like, oh, Yasmin's reached out to me because Yasmin used to work at the place that then I and Jim work at, saying about Ari and this project she has. And Jim does videography. So I do videography with Jim. And we do travel videos just for fun, really. Jim's done then videography for weddings and stuff independently. So we were like, okay, lost train of thought. Hang on, who did videography? And then he was like, Ari has got this idea to do a short film, and I was like, oh my god, I need to be involved in that. I wanted to say yes before I'd even heard the pitch deck because I was just so excited to do something involving like film and TV in any aspect, and especially because I just finished my writing course. So I think when Ari reached out to me, it was originally to be like a script supervisor,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
doing that side of things. And then when we were actually on set, I ended up taking more of an assistant director role. So then my role kind of changed, and I did that more so, and then helped Kieran with the script and stuff on set. And I just really enjoyed it. And the idea, when I actually did then read the pitch deck, even though in my head I was already saying yes, I really liked the idea. It was really like how Ari said, goody baddie. The whole thing was very concise, put together. The story itself is very simple, but the interpretations are endless. So when
Absolutely,
my what would I say? My brother's fiance, when she watched it, because we did a screening at the Northampton Film House, she grew up with a mum with mental health issues, and then she said, "Oh, was this meaning this?" And I was like, I didn't take that interpretation from it at all because from what she said, but I said, "Do you know what? I can see it." And then other people who have watched it have said, "Oh, does it mean this?" And I'm like, it does, it can.
It can, yeah.
If you see
It's
it.
up to the viewer. But everything they suggest and say, you can see everyone take something different from it, which I really, really like. Especially with the fantasy elements as well. And then Ella's work on it. And that vision, because that bit was actually the bit I was most hesitant at first when I met with Arian. I was like,
Yes,
if we've got
I
the
remember
fantasy,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
said it's got to be right. Like, it's got to be right. And then I saw
Yeah.
Ella's stuff, and I was like, this looks good. I was like, she knows what she's doing. Because that's the bit that you've got to really sell to the viewer. So the other bits, I was like, the noir,
Sure.
yeah, I can see us achieving that. The dark, I don't want to go spoilers.
Oh, the void. No, it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
have.
void.
Yeah, the void.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's vague enough.
Set scene.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I can see this. Like, we can achieve it. And then the fantasy part within the woods and stuff, I was like, how will it look? Like, especially with on such a small budget, costuming, that side of thing, which Yasmin will probably mention more about. I was like, that was the bit I was like, I wanted to be like the best. And I think it's a really strong scene as well. It all just came together. But yeah, I've kind of said lots of different bits, but that was kind of lots of reasons for why I wanted to do it.
That's great.
so
It sounded like it was
helpful.
very great
Yeah.
timing as well for you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, when I met Lydia and Jim as well, it was just so right away. It was like we were just so on the same page, I feel like, after that first initial meeting as well. And yeah, Lydia was originally brought in as a script supervisor. But if you have had a first AD on your set, you know first ADs have to like have a certain type of energy. And Lydia just has that naturally. Lydia, it's such a compliment. It's so good because you need someone that just is like, gets right to it, keeps you on track, has like Lydia had her iPad there the whole time scratching off like what we did. It was so great. Like
I've still got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that. But yeah, it was just so like literally you just doing that, Lydia, was like such a relief for everyone else on set because it was just like, oh, okay, we know like Lydia's making sure we're staying on track. So she just naturally had exactly that type of personality that you want in a first AD. And then, yeah, Jim was the camera op and the editor. And then Ella, the reason that I met Ella was because Ella was on her Instagram, was posting all of her fantasy photography. So yeah, when I showed Lydia Ella's like shoots and stuff, Lydia was like, oh, that looks really good now. Because I think we were worried about it looking a little too like, we didn't want it to look like amateur, like cosplay-ish. We wanted it to look really authentic. And I was like, oh no, I think we'll be able to do that because of like the location that Ella picked and like, yeah, the costuming. We wanted it to feel really grounded, which Yaz will talk about. But yeah, that's so good that you said that, Lydia, because I remember talking about that now. And I was like, no, I totally agree. It needs to be like real and like feel within the world rather than, yeah, kind of like almost like too heightened. You don't want that.
Yeah, and when you show me Ella's stuff, I don't think I've actually said it to you, Ella. I was really impressed. And then even the stuff you posted now, I was actually going to comment on your picture. Sorry, by the way. That was really good. I was showing Jim. I was like, oh, did you see Ella's post? But no, you provide an authenticity like within your photography with the fantasy stuff, and that really put my mind at ease because it either works or it doesn't. And I'm a massive fan of like Lord of the Rings and stuff and the fantasy films, and you just want it to be good. Like if this is your first project, you want it to be good and the best version it can be, especially on such a smaller budget as well. And we all working together for the first time. And I think we pulled it off really well. I was quite proud of it. And everyone who's seen it has been like, oh, I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but they're like, it's better than I thought it would be. And I'm like, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. That sounds like a very English comment. But no, I think you can definitely tell, like, it's the kind of film where you feel like lots of different people put their all into it and expressed what they want to express in different ways.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, we really want what Lydia was saying about how people were interpreting it in all these different ways. Like, Kieran and I really wanted that. We really wanted people to be able to like copy and paste their own experience onto it and feel seen. I mean, I think I have definitely gone to see films where I have felt that way, that I'm like, oh, I feel like this really, aligns with this experience that I had, or it's really representative of that. And so I think when you do a short film, especially if it's under like 10 minutes, you kind of want it to be something that so many different people can relate to and feel, like they see themselves or their experience in it. So yeah, hearing about how like, people kind of can see mental health, their own mental health or other people's mental health struggles within it. Even if, you know, my inspiration for it was shadow work, which obviously does connect to mental health just naturally, because you are looking at parts of yourself that we're kind of encouraged to not look at. But I didn't necessarily put like a specific, you know, mental health kind of struggle with it, like uh depression or anxiety, even though I've definitely felt those things, but it was very much inspired by just my journey with shadow work specifically. So I think it's really you feel like you got it right when you hear other people can kind of see their own story in it, even though you're telling something that, like you said, is very personal to you and your experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so expressive. I think people do take like different pieces of their lives, they recognize it in the film and they can kind of reflect on it through. It's kind of like a therapeutic experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I want it to be that. So that's like, oh, yay. Okay, we did it. We like nailed it then. I'm like, yay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on a bit, we were talking a lot about Ella's choices for the location and like the visual design cinematography. So it'd be great to hear about that from your perspective, like how you made some of the decisions and difficulties or like journeys towards deciding what you wanted to go for.
I think it's really interesting to hear kind of Lydia was a little bit worried about the fancy aspect of it because for me, that was like the easiest part. I think because I was so used to doing that in my own work, it was just very easy to kind of transfer that onto screen. For me, the daunting part of it was kind of the more noir sequence of the things because obviously it's very stylized. It kind of leans a lot into those kind of specific shots and those specific lighting styles, which I hadn't really played with before. But obviously, everyone was so lovely and kind of really supportive with it, and everyone kind of had their own little inputs and things, which kind of made it feel a bit more just like a nice collaboration. So it didn't kind of feel as daunting. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of a little bit of a not weird, but a exciting way of experimenting with different things and kind of figuring out how things would work, but also how they were going to flow together as well. I think because you've got quite different kind of styles, it's making sure that it does transition well and it's not just kind of we've gone from one section to another and it feels a bit disjolted and things like that. But
Yeah.
I think with the support of the team and kind of it was just nice to kind of have that platform of okay, this is kind of how I think we could do it, these are my ideas, I've kind of done these test shots and things like that, and everyone kind of really took that on board and was like, yeah, okay, that's really good, let's figure out how we can make that work and what we need to kind of equipment wise and things like that to make it work as well. So yeah, it was just really lovely to have that space to kind of experiment with different styles I hadn't particularly done before. And yeah, just really enjoyable overall.
Yeah. That's great to hear. I love what you were talking about, like trying to make the transitions and like the different things feel like more together rather than separate things. Because it really does have that. Each of them are very distinct, but they still feel consistent to the film. And I think the
Yeah,
cinematography plays such a big part in that.
I think it's that thing of I don't know if anyone else kind of has this. I don't know if it's just me being really like picky with films sometimes, but when you kind of you do kind of lose yourself when you are watching something on screen, and sometimes there are kind of key moments in a film where something might be a little bit off, and that completely takes me out of it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's like the thing I remember I don't enjoy about it. And I think for me, it was kind of important to make sure everybody was happy with how things were going and that you can watch it and you don't really have those moments. It just kind of all folds into one, so it pulls you into that world. And I think I really do think we achieved that. I think it was just such a lovely thing that we were able to create.
Absolutely, yeah. So talking about like these distinct genres, distinct settings, it'd be great to hear from Yasmin about how you made decisions relating to costume and how that kind of that similar kind of feeling of make them distinct but consistent and recognizable was achieved.
Absolutely. Sorry for my tech issues there. I don't know what's going on with my
So
laptop
good.
today.
Oh,
It's
that's
been a
okay.
little bit janky. Um, but I really like what you just said, Ella, about wanting people to not be like taken out of the story by something being jarring, because that's something that is, I'm the same. It really bothers me whether I'm reading a book or watching a film. If something feels out of place and takes me out of the story, it does ruin it a little bit for you. And I think that that's another reason that we wanted the costumes, the scenes that we were portraying. And I think that we approached each scene slightly differently with that in mind. I think that the fantasy one, the point that Lydia was making, is really good as well. Like, it's really easy for something like that to come across as really costumey, and a bit like hammed up. And that's absolutely not what we wanted to achieve at all. We wanted you to feel like you were there, you were in that time, and you were in this place. And so it was really important to us that, yeah, the costume sort of brought the characters alive. And I think that we achieved that in the Enchanted Forest by having all of these different textures and layers. A lot of what Ari and Michael were wearing was just stuff on stuff on stuff. And I absolutely agree that sometimes less is more, but I think it really worked for this. I think that just we needed to build it sort of from the ground up, and that's something that we did when we did the costume fittings. Ari and Michael sort of tried on the base layers first, and then we built up from there, and we played around with how we styled them to make it feel natural to the characters. I think we were thinking about how we wanted them to be able to move in them as well. There's a lot of movement, a lot of action in that scene, and also just for them to be as comfortable as they could be as well. Some of the shoot days were really long, and it was really important that they were able to move around and be comfortable. Poor Michael was wearing the morph suit mask a lot of the time, which wasn't comfortable at all. And he was such a good sport. And at times as well, we had to sort of safety pin it in place to give him some sort of structure. So yeah, it was, they were really, really good at sort of being good sports, taking all ideas on board. And then I would say for the 1940s one, we focused a lot more on sort of the shape of the outfit rather
Yeah.
than those textures. We had that wonderful filter on it to make it feel really authentic, but that means that you're not going to see things in the same way with the forest, where you can see that we had sort of um, cotton and velvet and all these different layers. That wasn't going to come across on screen in the 1940s. So we just really we tried really hard to find something that felt like it was authentic to the time, not someone who was dressing as if they were inspired by the time. And I think that that's something that we managed to achieve quite well as well. And to be honest, I feel like the outfits were just extensions of the locations. The locations were so perfect, like so well scouted, and that made it easier as well, because when you're in that place and you see what they're wearing, it all really comes together. And I think you look at the forest and you see all of the bark and the moss, and that sort of reflects all of those different textures that they were wearing in their outfits. And then you go to the Birmingham location, and again you just see the shapes of the buildings and the sharp angles and that really cool like curved staircase that we used. And I think that reflects sort of the silhouette that we were going for the outfit as well. So yeah, I'd say that's what we were working on. I will say that my job was made really easy by Ari because she had such a clear vision of what she wanted. There was no room for sort of uncertainty or doubt. And I think that that's also something that, when you asked earlier about what made us want to work on this, what made us excited to say yes to this project, Ari had such a fantastic pitch deck. It was absolutely beautiful, and the through line of the story was so clear. Everything that you see on screen in that film was in that deck. It's crazy how they just managed to make it come to life. So yeah, my job was like probably the easiest job, to be honest, because it was Ari's vision. I just helped her realize it.
I loved what you were saying about matching the setting though, because you can really tell, like, I thought it was really cool how each costume feels very representative of its setting, but is still like incredibly distinct within it and recognizable. So like the color theory, the shape language really clicked with the costume, especially. I was very impressed by that.
Oh,
Thank
yay.
you.
So we're starting to run a bit short on time. So I'd like to ask, do you guys have any advice for like young filmmakers or new project filmmakers in their early days trying to come together, trying to network, bring things about? What kind of energy would you suggest is good to bring, or any other tips like that?
Yeah, I always say, I know it's like simple advice, but I always say like just start, like, and everything else will kind of fall into place. Because again, like I didn't have a team when I had this idea, but I knew I had an idea and I knew it was something I really wanted to see through all the way to the end. Um, and I knew I wanted to go through the festival circuit and do all that, which that was one thing I forgot to mention about Lydia, that when we met, Lydia did one of the main questions Lydia asked is, are you going to submit it to festivals, or do you just want to, like, put it on YouTube? And I was like, no, I want to do festivals. And she was like, okay, great. So I think when you put that out, I say the universe, but whatever you believe, like when you put that out into the universe and you just have a clear vision and you want to see it through, I think everything else does fall into place. And yeah, as long as you're kind of true to yourself or to the story that you have in your mind or in your heart, or both, just that this is something that you want to tell. I think if you just see that through, then everything else will kind of, like, the people that are aligned with the story and want to come together to help create the story will just naturally come to you, right? Like Yaz was like, oh, I know people. Like I had no idea who could potentially be interested to help. But Yaz was like, no, I know people I can ask. So I think you just kind of have to trust yourself that, like, you're having this idea for a reason. Clearly this story needs to be told by you for a reason, and just trust that, and everything else will kind of work itself out. Because I think we get so bogged down in like, oh, but I don't know this, I don't know that. You don't need to know all the answers right now. Just trust that it'll all fall into place.
Yeah, I think that's a great sentiment to end on. So thank you guys. I think we're just out of time here, but it was really great to hear from you all about how this film was put together.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you, Ben. Thank
much.
you for having us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you guys.
Thank you.